Class versus Crass. William's charm offensive to America is leaving the Sussexes seething. Hello everyone. Welcome back to the King YouTube channel. Alright guys, do you know what? Today, experts are claiming that Prince William's US charm offensive has won the hearts of a nation during his New York trip. So let's think about what exactly this means. Could this mean that a couple of rogue royals in Montecito are watching? And are they going to be happy to hear this news, I wonder? Well, let's get into the details now. Not surprisingly, William was greeted by hundreds of adoring fans as he was touring New York. He attended the second Earthshot Prize, he made an emotional visit to a New York firehouse, and he even spent some time joking around with a rowdy bunch of 60-year-olds after he ran through Central Park. The reason, of course, that William came to New York is because he wants to raise awareness for his Earthshot Awards, which highlight ordinary people who are just trying to help our planet survive. He doesn't have to talk about his deceased mother all the time to get attention. Instead, he focuses on the people around him, and he's so comfortable and friendly when he does it. Oftentimes, climate change stuff can be pretty difficult to listen to. It can leave everybody just feeling depressed and like there's nothing we can do. That's what I love so much about Earthshot. Earthshot is focused on little changes that can be made and the belief that things are going to improve if we try to make the small adjustments that we can. Royal expert Richard Fitzwilliams also said that William's visit had been enormously successful, with his dip in the Hudson on Monday to see the Billion Oyster Project reviving his heartthrob status. Pointing to the recent Gallup poll where William was voted the most admired public figure in the U.S., with King Charles in fourth place, Mr. Fitzwilliams said the result contained an extraordinary statistic. And the U.S. media was absolutely loving William's visit. The New York Post reported that William was very warm and genuine, and Fox News said that William's jaunt to the Big Apple was in stark contrast to Harry's near-catastrophic paparazzi drama. When we compare William's visit to Harry and Meghan's last headline-grabbing trip to the city, I think the label class versus crass is apt. Comparing the two brothers, Christopher Anderson, author of The King, told Fox News Digital, "It's all a case of class versus crass." He said, when Harry and Meghan swept into New York last May, they flew in on a private jet and brought with them all the baggage and complaints they'd been carting around for years. The Sussexes seemed determined to prove that they, like Princess Diana, were being unfairly hounded by the press. Almost as if on cue, Harry and Meghan's visit climaxed with a purported 2-hour high-speed chase through the streets of Manhattan, a chase that to anyone even vaguely familiar with the city seemed improbable at best. What drama. It was just another stop on Harry and Meghan's traveling grievance roadshow. And the New York Post reported something similar. They said that William's charm offensive had really won over citizens of New York who were hit with, quote, royal fever. So many fans turned out gleefully, they said, to meet William during his impromptu downtown visit. And when William was there, he visited the FDNY 10 house. One thing that's special about that firehouse is they lost 10 firefighters during the 9/11 attacks on the World Trade Center back in 2001. Fans on social media were also thrilled about Prince William's visit to the city. One person wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, that William brings out the best in New Yorkers. "I'm thrilled that my fellow New Yorkers gave him such a great welcome," they wrote. "We are a pretty jaded lot, but there's something very warm and genuine about William." I don't think that the world could ask for a better future monarch than William. I mean, a real royal who does not forget his duties, who doesn't run away from his country, who loves his people. I'm sure New Yorkers were absolutely tickled that they didn't have to listen to Harry's whining. Prince William is upbeat, he's charming, but Prince Harry is always so miserable looking. It's really hard to believe they're even brothers sometimes. One is on his way to becoming king, and another is just stuck in the past and always going to see himself as a victim of life. It is such a blessing that William was born first and he is the heir to the throne. Americans know a real man when they see one, and William is exactly that. See, the truth is, Americans never loved Harry and Meghan. Now, the media embraced them, and there's a very big difference. I love the fact that Prince William and King Charles truly care about the earth, unlike Harry and Meghan, who only care about themselves and making money. I don't believe Prince William is getting all the credit that he deserves for Earthshot Prize anyway. It's not simply an award that distributes $1 million, it's an initiative that is so full of hope and optimism. It's focused on the joy of creating and being innovative to find solutions for our world. Another thing that's really special about William is that he understands how to relate to people. I think he really is a kind person. That's something that he clearly learned from his mother. And he has graciously accepted the position that he earned as the eldest son of the king. He understands his obligations, but he's also incredibly accessible. Another thing about Earthshot is it gives such an amazing platform to the winners. It gives them connections so they can really build their businesses while also helping to save the planet. It really is such a fantastic initiative. And William comes off as a genuine person because he knows who he is. He doesn't need any pretense. He doesn't put on airs. He deserves to be seen. He deserves to be supported. He is doing such outstanding work, so bravo, William. William is going to make a fantastic king someday. It's important to remember, too, that celebrities and public figures are everywhere in New York. New Yorkers do not line the streets for just anyone. He has gotten the best of his mother. He's got her charm, her charisma, her empathy, her sincerity. Now, come back early and often, William. New Yorkers want to see you some more. Meanwhile, back in Montecito, who knows what's going on with Has-Been and Megalodon? They should really take a page out of William's book and understand this is how it should be done. William is always so smart in everything he does. He does things tastefully, he's professional, and his mission is focused on something meaningful instead of everything being about him and his problems. Now, alright, I'm gonna give credit where it's due. Harry did portray himself as being pretty likable and charming in public, and he was popular before Meghan entered the scene and persuaded him to be such a negative person and to be so resentful and hostile. She convinced him that the bad in his life truly outweighed the good, and I don't believe that's true for anybody, certainly not Harry. And you, how do you feel about these two situations? Let me know your opinion below in the comments. And before we go, let's take a look to see what you guys had to say in the video where Kate had the last laugh against Meghan Markle. First comment from Betty made me chuckle. Meghan is very adept at hijacking bandwagons and going along for the ride. Isn't she, though? You know, Betty, I don't think we've been fair to her saying that she's not talented. She is talented at exactly that. Thanks for your funny comment, Betty. And then Susan Roberts says, Catherine knows the expectations of being royal. Meghan Markle knows only one expectation, getting herself in front of the camera. Nothing else matters. You're right, Susan, and that really just goes to show how pathetic Meghan Markle is. I mean, can you imagine how shallow, how vapid her life must be? It's really kind of sad when you think about it. And then Karen Shields comments, the older Charlotte gets, the more she looks like the late queen. Doesn't she, though? I mean, she's gonna grow up to be such a beautiful woman. Then we've got Leslie. Unlike Harry's wife, Catherine doesn't fake being interested. Have you forgotten that her husband is a qualified helicopter pilot? See, Catherine and William, you're right, Leslie, they don't have to fake anything because they're such real, genuine people. Harry and Meghan, on the other hand, well, they fake basically everything. Then we've got Wendy. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, simply the best. Isn't she, though? She is such a blessing to the whole world. And then another comment from Betty, imagine having to be well enough, stable enough, and energetic enough to make these daily engagements. Oh, and smart enough, nice enough, authentic enough, classy, fresh, etc. Whew, I'm feeling exhausted just thinking about it. I would find it incredibly difficult to be on all the time like they have to be, but they do it and they make it look easy, which really just shows how intelligent and how strong they are as people. I'm really enjoying these comments about Princess Catherine. Donna says, Princess Catherine doesn't fake being happy and wants to learn new things. Princess Catherine is always looking to learn something new every day. This is one of the little things that makes Catherine so loved. She is such a special person, isn't she? Boy, William really lucked out finding that one to marry. I know many people would claim that Catherine's the lucky one because William someday is going to be the king. But honestly, I think they're both lucky to have found each other. And then Appreciation for Queen Elizabeth says, Queen Elizabeth knew that Catherine, Princess of Wales, was superior to. Good family background was hers from the beginning. The princess is also gifted with intelligence and about 6 art levels. She happens to be a natural beauty also. I understand why Meghan is jealous of her now that you lay it all out like that. But then again, Catherine is such a lovely person. She's so down to earth, so relatable. I think most people who get to know her don't really feel jealous of her any longer because they just love her so much. And then we've got Petter Ribbon 264. Princess Catherine is a lovely English rose. Isn't she, though? Simple comment, but straight to the point. The next comment, I'm not really sure how to read this username, Yina Salin maybe? Catherine doesn't need paid paparazzis or have to plant stories to stay relevant. You're right, she doesn't. She's relevant without even trying. And I think that's one thing we love about her is that she doesn't have to try. And then below that, we've got Doug Chance. Well narrated and so true. Thank you. Catherine is fast becoming the people's princess, if she isn't already. In my humble opinion, the monarchy is safe with William and Catherine. Not so sure with Charles and Camilla. I've seen more work in a sick note than Charles displays. I think many people do agree with you, Doug. Now, I'm not somebody who's overly critical of King Charles. I think that he's doing the best job that he can right now. But at the same time, I do agree with you. I mean, I am so looking forward to the reign of King William and Queen Catherine. And then Alice Sadler reminds us Catherine isn't fake and she supports people that suffer from addiction also. That's because Catherine is such a compassionate, empathetic individual. She really cares about people, even people who have messed up their lives. And that's what makes it so awful when Harry says bad stuff about her. I mean, she of all people would support him if he just wouldn't act like such an a-hole. Next, we've got KMJ. Princess Catherine is a royal gem. Megan is a waste of breath. Spot on. And then Lady Diana, William and Catherine are the best. Of course, we agree. Mads, M is only about the headlines. She's incapable or just too disinterested to care about any project. You're right, she's only interested in how much more attention she can get for herself, and that's why nobody wants to pay attention to her. And then another comment from the always insightful Kate London. I think becoming a royal and dealing with people from all walks of life is like any other job. It takes talent and skill and craft. Nobody can do it perfectly from day one, and there is a steep learning curve all done on the world stage. For women that married in like Sophie and Catherine, it took a few years for each of them to find their footing. Both made mistakes at first, and both are now rock stars. They both worked hard, studied their craft, and learned from their mistakes. That's how life works. That's how you get good at anything meaningful. Now, Medusa just swanned in there. She thought she knew everything from day one because she was the reincarnation of Diana 2.0. She didn't think she had to work hard. She didn't have to study the role, and she certainly never learned from her mistakes. It's really no wonder that she's never been good at anything she tries, and why she crashes and burns at everything she does in the public eye. How can she be when she already knows everything? This is an excellent point. Actually, you made a few excellent points in this one, Kate. I think Megan reminds me of like the kid that doesn't do well in school, and then they get so upset because somebody else gets honored for achieving all A's or whatever it is. Now keep in mind, Megan is the kid who could do well in school but never ever applies himself and never studies. That's exactly what is going on here. And then she's going to cry about how it's so unfair that somebody else gets more recognition than she does. Megan doesn't seem to understand that it's not really about who you are. It's about what you do. That's what people care about. Nobody is going to fawn all over you just because you're such a great and wonderful person when you've not done anything great and wonderful that anybody has noticed. Thanks again for your comment, Kate. It was, as always, spot on. Sue Clark says, I've always been impressed with how the royals are able to make small talk all the time with people from every walk of life, and they do their homework ahead of time to have the knowledge necessary to discuss the work being done in the charities and organizations they visit. They have to know something about everything, it seems, while never looking tired, even if they are. I think it all takes grace and skill. You're right, Sue. I don't like it when people say that the royals have such an easy job or they don't do anything and get a bunch of money for doing nothing. That's not true at all. Honestly, I could never even do a single day of their work. I would find it incredibly difficult. I think most of us would. I think they deserve a lot more credit. So thank you, Sue, for giving credit where credit is due. And then the comment below that, Jacqueline, she basically echoes the same sentiments. Jacqueline says, it must be exhausting. Catherine loves children, sports, and dealing with people with mental illness. Now she is learning about the military. The other two thought the royal family couldn't cope without them. Yeah, that's a joke. I think they really did believe that, Jacqueline. You're right. But just look at the royal family. They are doing so well without those two dragging them down. All right, my lovelies, that is all the time that we have now, so thank you so much for watching and thank you for discussing everything with us. If you think my video is helpful, please don't forget to like and share it with anyone else who would enjoy it anytime you want. Please don't forget to subscribe to our The King YouTube channel to get more updates in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a lovely evening, and we'll be back to see you tomorrow. Bye. I love you all.